Today, I have to tell you something that happened this morning, and I promise this is going to be extremely relevant. I have this thing about the dishwasher, and before you start laughing, just stick with me here. My dad is an engineer, and growing up, loading the dishwasher was not this casual activity. I mean, my father had a system, big plates here, bowls go here, cups on top, and the utensil, he wasn't as structured about the utensils as long as they get clean. I grew up thinking this is just how human beings load dishwashers. I mean, that's how important our parents are. Then I got married. My husband, who I love deeply, loads the dishwasher like he's playing a game of Tetris and losing on purpose. He's got pans on top, a bowl facing up, a knife pointed at whoever. It is total chaos. And here's the thing. Sometimes I go back and I rearrange things, and I know I shouldn't, but sometimes I really can't help it. And this morning I was putting a dish in there and I noticed how he was loading the dishwasher as his usual, and I saw it differently. And I started to laugh because what I saw today was, oh my gosh, this is exactly what most speakers do with their presentations. They just load everything in wherever it seems to fit. Whatever comes to mind first goes first. Stories are tossed in randomly. The big ask, their big call to action, is buried somewhere, but there's no rhyme or reason. There's no warm up to it. There's no real thought to what goes where or why. And then they wonder why their speech didn't land. They wonder why the audience just kind of checked out. They're wondering why the decision makers that are in the room didn't take the next step. And it's not that their content's bad, it's that there's chaos in their structure. Today, we're going to be talking about the science of why certain things go in certain places in your presentation and what happens when you finally load it right. Let's get on to the show. So, I hope you're laughing a little bit with me, and maybe you're even thinking about how you load the dishwasher or how your spouse or significant other loads the dishwasher, maybe even your kids if they're at that age where they're helping you load the dishwasher. Because what I know is a great speech isn't just content, it's architecture. And you've probably heard me say that speaking is like verbal copywriting. There's a reason why certain things go in certain places. My father knew this when it came to loading a dishwasher. And as somebody who helps people with speaking and influencing with their voice, I know that the most in demand speakers know how to do this as well. So let me share with you the kind of speech that is built on science. And this is what the in-demand signature speech methodology is. It is built on science and also my years of experience and testing things out. Your audience already had a micro yes. They said yes to being in the room. They are interested in your topic. They know that they have the problem. If you're in corporate, everybody who's in that meeting has made a decision to be there or not. Let's face it, if they didn't want to be there, they could find something else to do, come up with an excuse not to be in the room, maybe send one of their team members instead of them being physically in the room. So everybody that's in your room that is listening to you speak in person or virtually has said a micro yes, I'm interested. I want to hear this. So your opening is designed to get people's attention. You want to be getting your audience to lean in, especially if they don't know you very well. And then what naturally, and then after you've hooked them in with your beginning, with your opening story, with a statistic, a quote. And if you ever use a famous quote by somebody else, always tie it into what you believe, your thought leadership, insert that in. And I'll give you an example because I say a lot of times in my speaking that Warren Buffett said that if you learn public speaking skills, you'll increase your value by 50%. And I believe through my work and research that if you learn public speaking skills, you will actually increase your bottom line by 87%. So that's what I mean by, if you're going to use a famous quote, tie it into your thought leadership. But the next section is your authority section. And it has to be placed right after your opening, because what's naturally happening to your audience, and this is almost like the delicate stuff that goes on the top rack, your audience is crossing their arms and then they're leaning back and they are thinking, but why should I listen to you? Why you? And this is where we are inserting about our authority section, why we are the person to listen to, why we are the person who is giving and delivering this particular information. And that's where you're going to get people to lean back in, because like, oh, sounds like he knows what he's talking about. I'm going to keep listening. And then you are teaching. You are sharing the information that you came to share at this board meeting, at this meeting in front of leadership, at this industry association meeting. And then you're going to wrap it up. You're going to have some sort of a summary and a call to action. And your call to action is kind of like how I view like the detergent pod. Like, it's got to be in the right place so that it doesn't get activated too early. It has to be activated at the right moment. I mean, you wouldn't want the soap coming out of the pod before the dishes were even wet or even rinsed. So your call to action is extremely important. And it's also got to be at the right place. Hey, before I keep going, I just want to pause here for 1 second. If you're listening to this and thinking, I got a speech, I got a keynote, I got a presentation that I have to give, and honestly, I think I've been loading it wherever. I want you to know that that's incredibly common, and it's also fixable. I work with speakers one-on-one to build their signature speech using this exact methodology, and also for corporate leaders to help them transform what happens when somebody finally has a structure that works, so that when you're done speaking, people are walking up to you and want to have a conversation with you one-on-one, so that you get to a yes quicker. So if that little gut response of yours is saying, yes, that's me, I'd love to invite you to book a call. Let's have a conversation. Let's look at what's working in your career, in your business, and see what's possible. The link is down below in the show notes. There's no pressure, just an open door if this feels right to you. Okay, let's get back to the dishwasher. What happens when you load the dishwasher correctly? Well, the dishes actually get clean. You actually get to have more dishes in there. They're all going to get cleaned evenly. And that's what your speech does also. It's actually going to land. People are going to lean in. You will be able to give the right stories, give enough information without overwhelming people. And they're going to feel like there is a beautiful flow to this presentation, to this speech. And that's what happens when everything is in the right place. And I also want you to understand that speaking isn't just a skill. It's how you create change. It's how you advance your career. It's how you attract the perfect fit clients. It's how you build your personal brand so that other companies might come and start entertaining the idea of trying to woo you over to them. Again, let's think about your career, and learning to speak eloquently, concisely is probably the one skill in your career, in your business, that has the hugest ROI. As a matter of fact, what I teach people has such a huge and long-lasting ROI. I have clients that tell me learning to speak concisely, they've used that in their family life, raising their children, not just at work or in their business. There are so many other places personally and professionally, but outside of their work and business, that they have been able to use these skills, and they see the ROI of what happened because they learned public speaking. They learned how to use their voice. They learned how to not stay quiet, to speak up, be heard, be seen. And I want you to know that you deserve that also. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to be seen. You deserve that next big opportunity. So, yes, this episode started off with a funny story about loading the dishwasher and how it really bugs me the way that my husband loads the dishwasher. But he thinks he's doing a great job, or he might know that it annoys me, and that's why he does it that way, because he probably has heard me move the dishes around. But that's exactly what I do for my clients. They show up with this pile of dishes, and I help arrange them. And then they see how I arrange them because I share with them. There's a reason why the pots go over here and the forks go over there and the delicate crystal goes here. There's a reason, and they can see it. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then you understand it, because I want people to remember you. I want people to be talking about you and your presentation and what they learned. And most importantly, I want people to be talking about you. That's how you build your personal brand. That's how you attract that next opportunity. That's how, if you listen to my episode on strategic networking, this is strategic networking, is being seen and being heard by the right people. So thank you so much for being here. And if today's episode stirred something in you and you are ready to stop winging it and actually architect a speech that works, the invitation is still open. Book that call and let's talk. The link is down in the show notes. And until next time, I want you to keep showing up, keep speaking, and remember, the right structure doesn't limit your message. It's what lets your message actually land. So until next week, I want you to be in demand.